So welcome to our channel. Appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get over 100 subscribers. I know it's a small number, but every little bit helps. And go ahead and like this video and make comments. If you have questions, we'll try to get to them. Always looking for ideas on how to do a better job. In the last video, I promised an overview or update on our solar and lithium installation, and we've got a few months under our belt now. Some of it cruising, some of it on the hard in the Marine Center. We had the boat on the hard for about 2.5 months while we went and visited with family, and also to get the annual boat stuff done, bottom work, and some other projects that we had. So we'll cover the projects and the recommissioning in our next video, but in this one I just wanted to give an overview of our lithium solar project. We installed it last summer. We commissioned the whole system at the end of October, and so we had about 1.5 months of cruising on it, and then we also had 2.5 months in the boatyard, which was interesting because basically we had no other power generation. We just had our solar. We couldn't run our generator because we were out of the water. So it kind of made us reliant on the solar, which kind of helped us to really narrow in on our usage and some other things. So without any more conversation, if you're going to go with lithium batteries, there's a giant range that you can go with. You can assemble your own out of cells that you buy online. Most of the stuff comes from China, and you can get your cost down to less than $3 an amp hour. You can also go with something that's more assembled, but still pretty much homebrew, and you can get that for less than $6 an amp hour. You can go with an internally monitored lithium battery like a Relion or a Battleborn, and you're going to be paying around $8 an amp hour. Of course, all these prices vary. We ended up going with Victron's lithium batteries, and they ran us about $11 an amp hour, which is quite a bit more than most of the others. They're externally regulated, which I like better, which I'll cover, and then also kind of paying for the brand and their long history, and plus each battery has a Bluetooth connection to their app, so that's some of the extra expense there. So some of the reasons why we went with the Victron setup is they have a long history in the yacht business, and insurance is starting to become an issue for people that put the lithium systems in. Some insurance carriers are leery of lithium, and rightly so. They can be a problem if they're improperly designed or installed. And we just wanted the reliability and the backup that comes with a major manufacturer that's been in the yacht business for a long time. They don't just make lithium batteries, they make full power systems for yachts. This is a 10 to 20 year investment. I mean, even if we don't have the boat that long, these components could end up lasting that long, and it can help with the resale of the boat if we decide to sell it. I understand no one size fits all. I definitely recommend whatever you are planning to do, that you do plenty of research. There's lots of information out there on the web, of course, YouTube. Everybody has an opinion. The main factor that we kept at the forefront of our choosing of our system is safety. That's number one in our boat. When you're out on a boat, you definitely want to have a reliable power system, and you want it to be safe. We had an expensive yacht, and there's really no standards out yet on lithium. ABYC has a technical bulletin, but they don't have any standards written yet. So there's not a lot of firm guidance on how to put lithium in a boat right now. My understanding is sometime in 2022, ABYC is going to put out a standard. but I haven't seen anything, on that yet. We ended up with this system, which I've got up on the screen here, which is 5 200 amp hour lithium batteries. Really wanted the 300 amp hour batteries for a 1200 amp hour bank, but they were not ready yet. I don't know if it was COVID supply chain or something, and then we went with, we upgraded to a Quattro inverter charger so we could have plenty of throughput from our new battery bank and plenty of charging power. And then we also put battery to battery chargers from the alternator, or to protect the alternators on the engines. Basically, an alternator that's unregulated feeding lithium batteries can overheat itself, and so it's fairly well known that you need to either upgrade your alternators with some external protection. You can monitor the temperature or have an external regulator. There are new alternators that are being manufactured now specifically for lithium battery installs, but we were happy with our alternators, and we really don't count on the alternators as the main source of charging. We have a generator, and we put on a lot of solar. We have 5 410 watt sun power panels, and then we have a generator that came with a boat. Only has about 1,400 hours on it, so we're going to continue to use the generator as the most efficient way of charging when we need a backup to the solar. So with that in mind, we just put 30 amp battery to battery chargers on the engines so that when we are running the engines, we do get some power into the batteries, but it's really not our main source of power. If I had to do the system again, I probably would go with a 50 amp battery to battery charger and make a little bit more use of the alternator power. When we made the decision on who to have install the system, I did some looking around, and there's a lot of people that will install solar and batteries. I was really looking for a company that had certified technicians and had a history in the business, so that if I had problems, there was someone to go back to someone to get help from. And this has already paid off because I have had some issues, and they did help me with the troubleshooting. As far as Victron, obviously they're a well-known brand in the yacht business with electrical components from A to Z, and so we felt very secure with them as a manufacturer of our components. The other thing I liked about the Victron system was the smart Bluetooth connections that went into the Connect app, and then also their VRM system, which allows for remote monitoring of the system also. So those two things were a big plus in picking the Victron suite of equipment. Again, safety was the primary concern as well as performance, and so we have a lot of safety built into the system. We have breakers coming down off the solar panels. We have battery protects both coming from the charger and also from the solar. We have the BMS, which is an external BMS which watches everything, pretty much everything goes through that BMS. So we have a lot of redundant safety systems, and of course there's a master 400 amp fuse. Even though the system is designed for 500 amps, we put in a 400 amp master fuse just to give it a little extra protection. Pretty much all the Victron components have the Blue Smart system, which is the Bluetooth system to connect with their app. And the batteries have it, the MPPTs, solar controllers have it, the BMS has it, everything except the Quattro. The Quattro doesn't have its own Bluetooth connection. I think they assume if you have a Quattro, you're probably working through a BMS or something else that you're getting all that data from. You can see from the Connect app that all of our devices show up. You can name them, whatever you want to. When you go into the battery information, you can see all the way down to the cell level, and you can set different pre-alarms and cutoff points depending on what you want to do with your batteries. And then also the BMS, you can see what the system's doing, and you can get some history on what's happened in the past. And then of course the MPPT controllers have their own Bluetooth connection, and you can see what's going on right now. You can change different settings. And what's really valuable is you can go into the history and you can see what the output for the panel was the day before, what it's currently doing, how much time it's spent in bulk and absorption and float. Just a real wealth of data coming off the solar controllers. So the Serbo GX gathers all this information and basically provides a wireless connection. I have it hooked up to a hotspot, so cellular hotspot, so I can get this information from anywhere if I'm off the boat. All I have to do is sign in to the web-based portal that Victron has, which is provided free of charge, and I can see all the data that I have set up in my system. I can either add data to it at that point if I want, or customize it. The system also allows you to basically give other people access to that portal. So if you have a dealer or someone who's helping you troubleshoot something, you can give them direct access and they can view all the data from your Serbo. What's nice is the Serbo keeps track of this information even if the connection is lost, the web connect is lost, so you don't lose the data. I don't know how much it'll store. It does have a 1 megabyte of storage. I know when I set up the system, I didn't do the VRM for a couple weeks, and all the data was there when I went to download it. So not sure how much storage is there, but there's quite a bit. If you lose your cell signal, you don't lose that history. One of the things I like with the Bluetooth connections for each of the devices is it helps with troubleshooting. This has already come in handy because our center panel, which has its own controller, stopped working. Started getting 0 volts off of it. And so, number one, when would I have noticed that if I didn't have the app? You know, I was checking the data because I was interested. We were living purely off the solar in the on the hard, and so it was a matter of keeping track of where the solar was at versus the batteries. And all of a sudden I started getting no volts off the center panel, and I would not have known this if I didn't have that information. You know, I guess I could have went and looked in the locker and saw the blinking blue light rather than the solid blue light, but I'm not sure if or when I would have done that. So it was easy to use the data off the Connect app to see what was going on with the panel. I was able to send screenshots to the dealer to help troubleshoot, and we ended up tracking it down to a bad connector up on the solar panel. So it was kind of a non-event. We got it working again, but it really helped with the troubleshooting or even realizing there was a problem to start with. So this is the data that I am getting from the Serbo that I have selected. You can have voltage, amperage, temperature of the batteries, state of charge, quite a bit of data. You basically go into the advanced field and you can design your own dashboard basically. And that's what I've done here. You basically go up to the top and you can see all the different items that are connected to the Serbo, the BMSs and the VE shunt, and you can design your own data system. You can collect the data that you want to see that is applicable to what you're doing. This is what I have selected on mine, and you know, from time to time I bring up other stuff and look at it, and again, the data is always there, the history is always there, whether or not you choose to display it at that time. Well, hopefully this has been helpful if you're looking to add lithium or solar onto your boat. We're pretty happy with our system so far. We installed it, like I said, and commissioned it at the end of October, and so being in Virginia and on the East Coast and now in Florida right now in the winter, we haven't had great solar performance, but we have had some good solar days, and we can tell that the system is going to supply quite a bit of our needs as we're cruising, hopefully to the Bahamas next. We're kind of waiting to get some of our business done before we leave the country, and of course we have to pass our COVID test, and hopefully we can do all that next week and get over to the Bahamas, and then we'll be able to get you some more solar data at that point. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, click that button. And next time we'll talk about our first trip through the yard and recommissioning the boat. Have a good one.